are they and when are they? Well, where are they is that they live on the steppe, and that's the dark green bit on the map. You can see this great swathe of a sort of carpet going from Manchuria in the east right across Central Europe and ending up in Great Hungarian Plain up there. Great Hungarian Plain is the last bit of steppe. So that area, open rolling grassland, is the homeland of these people. They were, as you've seen from the title, they were nomads, and they responded, they were conditioned, their lifestyle was conditioned by this grassland. Now there is one very important thing to know about this, and that is that the steppe is not a sort of even environment. The steppe up here in Mongolia, which is, if you want to see steppe, that's the place to go, is cold and very dry. But as you get further and further and further west, it gets more moderate in temperature and certainly wetter. And that means that the grass is lusher. So if you were steppe nomads in that area, there would be a tendency always to want to move further west, where the grass literally is greener all the way. And that sets up what's called the steppe gradient, which encourages people to move and to move and to move. And the whole history of the Scythians and the Scythian-related peoples is of this movement, always from the east to the west, always ending up in the Great Hungarian Plain, which, as I say, is the last bit of steppe in the area. But the Scythians, or Scythian-related peoples, spread right across the steppe to the royal Scyths there north of the Black Sea, the Pontic area. And they all had different names. And what we're seeing there are the names that the Greeks knew them by. But they are all these warrior nomad peoples. And they were not static. It was this constant movement, constant flow of some breaking off and going great distances, setting themselves up in positions of power over the local natives, and then moving on again and again, really like a lot of dominoes falling the whole time as these movements continued. Now, it's from the Greeks that we get some bits of history coming in. We've got two sources, basically, for Scythians. We've got the archaeology, the hard archaeology, and we've got what the Greeks tell us about them. We have no history of Scythians from the mouths of Scythians. One of the groups we know in detail about. They settled in the North Caucasus. This is Chechnya and Ossetia, that sort of area now, southern Russian Federation still. And they built their tombs, and then they did what all good warrior horsemen do: they raid. They find somewhere to raid. Where better than in Asia Minor, where the Assyrians were being beaten up by the Urartians. There's a big war going on here. So from their settlements, they would go out and take part in that war, sometimes on one side, sometimes on the other side. And some of these journeys may have taken a very short time. When the summer starts, you think it's a good time to go off raiding, so you go through the Caucasus and have a good time and get some loot and so on, and then go back. The ones we know most about are the ones who are properly called Scythians, who settled north of the Black Sea in the Pontic steppe. There's the Crimea. And most of that's Ukraine and that's Russia now. Not quite sure where the border now is, but there were various groups of them, and the different colours there just represent slightly different cultural groups. So although we use the word Scythian for the whole lot, there were different sorts of Scythians. Some of them were actually growing grain, some were not, and they had slightly different artistic motifs and so on. But that's just an archaeological nicety. Essentially, all those were Scythians. You see, with his Goritas there, with the bow in and the arrows there, spear, the short dagger by the side. This one is wearing iron scale armor and armored helmet, and he's carrying his shield on his back. Shield probably made of timber, sticks held together with leather.
إنه لكم